Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Bahashurah HaHakodash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Ruel, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. I was a high spirit wind lawyer, and today I want to go into a topic, all right, going on what our people, based off what our people honor. So the brother sent me a video of a sister on TikTok. I call her a sister. No, she's not an Israelite. It's like she doesn't know she's an Israelite. I don't think she does, but I call her a sister. And she was basically breaking down beautifully. She was breaking down how ratchetness has a mass following in black culture. Within black culture, ratchetness has a great support system. So-called black women who are ratchet, all right, black women who are ratchet, they have a mass following, all right, they have a mass following, and she was basically breaking down, which is true, the gamblers, but they're the rejects. In other cultures, rejects. In this culture, that's the honored people. But in so-called black culture, if you are upright, you're the reject. The so-called nerds, the introverts, people who they're morally oriented, they're kind, they generous, they're just hard workers. They virtually don't exist. That's the reject. And you're more upright. Even when it comes to women, they'll call a woman that's modest, that state of herself, a plain Jane. She ain't got her titties out. She ain't wearing excessive makeup. She don't have a big lace front. They'll call her a plain Jane. I don't even like that title. They'll call her a plain Jane. If you're not, you know, prostituting yourself on social media. Because that's essentially what you're doing. You're prostituting yourself. Look up that word in the etymology. Per Elder Apostle Bar. Look up that word, prostitute. It literally means to put on display. And it also means to incite to lust, to expose to lust. So you position yourself in your apparel that causes men to lust after you. That's the average so-called black woman. But that's more glorified in our culture than a modest woman. Now you have a few Israelite women who, on their YouTube channels, they dedicate their YouTube channels to being modest. But that's literally like a subculture. And even that gets condemned. Even bitches condemn them. Like, you gotta fight. Like, you meet certain women, you gotta explain to them how they should dress like a fucking slut. You know, ain't got time for that. But nonetheless, a whore is more exalted than a decent woman in black culture. But in other cultures, those are fucking rejects. A street nigga is way more exalted than a hard worker. When 50 years ago, 40 years ago, especially 50 years ago, even probably 40 years ago, 30 years ago, the drug dealers was the underdogs. The thugs was the underdogs. They were the rejects. Now, if you're not a thug, it's square energy. And women actually be on social media dogging their husband. Like, my hood nigga want to get back to me. My hood nigga want to get back with me. I'm a square husband. And bitches, she say that. Like, a woman to be in her bed crying silently, and the caption to say, like, my YN broke up with me, or my nigga broke up with me. So, but it'll be in the sense of she's married, meaning her side nigga, you know, was most likely a ratchet nigga, a degenerate. But the upright nigga is a square. The world we live in. And it's not just so-called black women. Like, Westernized women, they following this shit, man. But in our culture, see what I notice about so-called white people, Edomites, they'll go to little parties, they have little, what do you call it, receptions, little events, and they'll have their little alcohol and shit, and a DJ will play Sexy Red, and the bitches will like that shit. Like the Edomite women like Sexy Red, but when they leave that party, they're not actually Sexy Red. They're not imitating Sexy Red. They gotta go back and be upstanding women. See? The so-called black women, they actually live the life of Sexy Red. They live the life of Glorilla. Their whole statement, Glorilla, was like, I need at least 4 niggas, or every woman should have 4 niggas. Or I got a light-skinned nigga with dreads and a dark skin. Like, a lot of black women have that mindset. That ratchet shit, that STD shit, I gotta go to the abortion clinic shit. That ratchet shit that is really degeneracy it's put on a higher level than a motherfucker that just stated themselves, man. Even in nigga high school, if you went to a nigga high school, if you didn't do shit, what they call you? And a lot of the women who low-key had wifey energy, they were virtually invisible. You know, a lot of women who were decent, you know, they were decent, they would probably be looked at as plain Janes, but they really had that nourished energy. We just didn't look at it like that back then. Depending on the caliber of ratchetness your high school was, man. You know? So alluding back to the TikTok video that the brother Yash sent me, the brother Yashamath, GMS Kingdom Minded, the GMS Prisons of Yahushai, both pages. He sent me a TikTok video, and it was Eve, you know, and she was just breaking down the upright people, the people they're morally oriented, they're the rejects, you know, but the ratchet people, the degenerates, they're the popular ones. They're the people who are accepted within our culture, and that can't be further from the truth. It's sad. It's sad, man. A perfect example of that was Michael B. Jordan. And so many women are attracted to Michael B. Jordan, right? But they found out he was just a guy that dotted his I's, crossed his T's, you know, spoke well. You know, a lot of women, they looked at him like, even being him, like, oh, he a lame, he a cornball, man. There are a lot of Israelite men who are famous, and people look at them like cornballs because in real life, they don't do shit. And it's not that they don't do shit, they just don't do anything dangerous. Like, if Michael B. Jordan had a neck tattoo, he had a full body tat, bitches will love him. He had a few mugshot pictures, bitches will love him, man. You know? You know? You see? So Esau has engineered our people to cause their own destruction. You as a man is chasing a whore, and you might impregnate this whore. She got her niggas. It's confusion. She get pregnant, you don't know if you're the daddy or not. It's weird ass shit. But the child from the child is gonna be raised in a broken, non-two-parent household. And statistically, it's gonna produce that same outcome that it came from. The average woman, that they demonize men for being traditional, or you want to have some type of control over your woman. But if you don't have no control over it, hey man, by the time you get a woman, man, she's done everything but the righteous thing, man. She's done everything and every type of nigga and female. It's crazy. That's the average woman. Left to her own devices in Babylon, man. This shit is terrible, man. You know? But I mean, that's pretty much the point, man. You know? The degeneracy is accepted and morals is rejected. And then, like I said, if you're not into the degeneracy of the culture, you're automatically a reject. It's like you're weird. It's like you're weird. Hey, if you're a man, they might think, man, something wrong with that nigga. He probably a serial killer or some shit. Well, like you a Jake that, let's say you wear Wrangler pants. I know how this shit go. You wear off-brand clothes. You know what I mean? You ain't got no urban appeal about you. But you virtually don't exist to these women. You feel me? And Eve, let's just say you just don't wear makeup or you ain't got your ass and titties. You know how that shit go, man. I ain't gotta go into detail. You know? That goes to show you how much the world rejects Yahweh. Because Yahweh Shai came on this earth, he will come on this earth as an Israelite man. But then he'll enter into this atmosphere, keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. So if he entered into this plane, his behavior wouldn't be appealing to the world. It wouldn't appeal to people. Because he won't have dreadlocks. Sorry to inform you. He won't have a tattoo sleeve, body tats. He's not going to be in the club. He's not going to be going live, pulling guns at the camera. He's not going to be an adulterer. He's not going to have any mug shots unless it's for teaching the word, getting arrested for teaching the word. So if Yahweh Shai came in this planet and he'll be amongst the brotherhood, he wouldn't have any no global appeal. Quite sure people think he's attractive. I mean, that's Yahweh Shai, you know. But it'd be like, you know, you see what I'm saying? He'll have upright energy. And one thing I noticed about our people, they don't gravitate to upright energy. Even when I watched the show Pop the Balloon, Eve low key, she is not attracted to people who got decent energy. She wants some type of appeal. Even me talking to females is classified as nerds. Like as a man, you can't just be an upright dude. This how Eve function. You gotta at least listen to rap. You can't be 100% outside the culture. You gotta at least have some type of rap. You gotta at least listen to rap music. Like even if she's a nerd, or like a quote unquote nerd, you can't just be 100% a nerd. They want a nerd with a little edge to him. You know? They want a nerd with a little edge, man. Now, what does that have to do with you being a provider and a protector and providing stability? You know how many females, they got these weird ass standards, but they broke as hell, they struggling financially. But on the flip side, you know, the culture has Jake chasing whores, man. Sexy Red is not special. Sexy Red is not a celebrity. And then she just boldly talked about how many times she caught chlamydia and gonorrhea, man. That shit nasty as fuck. Not that you can't catch that shit, but like she just boldly said how many times she repetitively caught that shit, man. And look at the inner city and watch how these motherfuckers destroy themselves, man. And compare these big eyelash, bad built women in these inner cities, compare them to so-called black women in the 90s. So-called black women in the 90s, they look way better than these big eyelash, tattoo covered up, bad built women out here in 2025. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, when they show clips of your city, you might watch the old footage of your city back in the 80s. You know, my brother was telling me how he was watching a clip of Jackson, Mississippi from the 80s. He was like, man, Jake had a glow to him. You know, it might have been the 70s or the 80s. Crack first hit Jackson like in the 80s. So Jake wasn't fully fucked up in that decade. But just look at Jake from like the 70s and the 80s, man. Jake had a fucking glow to him, man. Jake was more like present, you know? Now, a lot of Jakes, man, like, they might have something called like a second line. I was watching Second Line, New Orleans Second Line, Parade. I think it was the 70s or the 80s. But everybody was pretty much fit, you know, had a decent physique. But you watch Second Line now, man, Jake through, man. Doing that Creole dance, man. Jake through, man. Like, that's how you know the culture is set for self-destruction. They clone Tyrone. Degeneracy is gonna reproduce with degeneracy, man. You know? That's the scripture I was thinking about too, brother. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil. They put darkness for light and light for darkness. They put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. They call evil good. You know? And people think it's a flex. You had one Eve, this critter, all right? She was on an interview and she said her husband was a simp because she knew her husband was a simp because he accepted her 3 kids. You know? But then she vocalized that shit. Like, she openly said that shit on the interview publicly. Like, yeah, my husband was a simp because he knew I had 3 kids and he accepted me. Like, just one thing you don't do is just honor your man. You don't badmouth your man. And she did that. She thought it was a flex. That's another thing I noticed about these women. They'll put all your shit on TikTok and think it's cute. They'll put your personal shit on TikTok or so and think it's cute, man. You see? But a lot of females, they feel like Jacob, Israelite men, they only want a certain type of woman. They only want baddies. Nah, I just want a non-whore, you know? We all grown. When I was a child, I thought as a child, I understood as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. So a lot of us, we outgrew fantasizing some Little Kim, some Cardi B. We outgrew that shit. Because in real time, they just a chick selling pussy in a hotel. There's nothing special about that. You want a woman that you could build with. They got nourishing qualities. You see? Nourishing qualities. Esau put that in our face. But you really want a woman that's off the grid. She just kind of low key, man. Ultimately, a woman who listens. You know? Same thing with a man. If you can get a man that's stable, and in the context of this truth, you get a man that's in this truth, man, and he just financially stable, man. Because what I realize about women, y'all need supervisors. Not just at work. You need life, because y'all awareness is off. A lot of females' awareness in the streets is off. And it's not to down women, but the Most High made the man to be the head. Within the head is decision making. It's good judgment. You know? But that's pretty much the point. Where supervisor ultimately means overseer, which goes back to really being from a domestic sense, a bishop. You're the overseer in your house. So you are the supervisor. You are the overseer. You know, feminism downplayed men like we're just some idiots, some idiot providers. Like we're just the nigga that's providing and that's it. And we're just kind of like incompetent or some shit. Like, no. You have judgment over your household. You know what's right for your family. You're a man of the Lord. You should know what's right for your family. Does your woman opinion matters? Of course. Does her perspective matters? Yeah, because one thing about a woman that makes her an asset, she catches things that you don't catch. That's her spirit that the Most High gave her. That's the vibration she's in. Women are detail oriented. All right, and we're more holistic visual people. We're big picture thinkers. We see the bigger picture. All right, that's how we're supposed to complement each other, man. You know? But that's pretty much the point, man. You know, hope this was edifying. You know, hope brothers and sisters read the scriptures that was on the comment board while I was driving. If they could, if they were in a position to read, you know, you might be driving trucks or whatever, you know. But with that, hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Till the next time, shalom.